So the fair. The fair is something that comes to town here every May around this exact same time. And it's quite the ordeal sometimes. I had a couple of situations to deal with over the last couple of days with my shoot job while at the fair. Before we get into today's show, I want to make sure that we thank everybody for joining us. Whether you are watching this back or whether you are on audio format only, we want to say thank you. And make sure that you're following us over on Good Pods. While there on Good Pods, search up Turnbuckle Studios, Turnbuckle Talk, and you will be able to find the show, Turnbuckle Talk, and give it a thumbs up. Give it well, not really a thumbs up, but give it a ranking. Give it a 5-star. Because, yeah, we're good enough to have 5 stars, I think. We definitely are. I want to find out from you guys just one of your memories from this fair that comes to town.
Riding the Gravitron. That was my most favorite ride there. I swear, the very first time I went on it, I was 5 years old.
Yep.
I think I got on the ride, did the ride, got off, went back in line, went back on the ride at least 6 or 7 times before my mom was like, okay, let's go check out the other rides.
Wow. They don't even call it the Gravitron anymore.
It'll always be the Gravitron.
Right? It's a little bit different. I remember the Gravitron kind of being a little enclosed on the top.
Right.
This new one isn't at all. No. Still, though, a pretty cool ride that I partook in, and I love the Gravitron because, like, the seats, or not the seats, but the backboard that you're on would actually move up and down, and you really felt weightless. It was different.
I really don't remember too much from going to the fair because I'm deathly afraid of heights. I've never really been on those types of rides. I remember a kid's roller coaster and watching it. I've always just sort of toured around, intermingled. I might have done like the spinny cups as a kid.
Right.
But I really don't remember. And I mean, even becoming a dad, like, I don't take my son to the fair. That was his mom's thing. And now my parents' thing, they'll bring him.
Okay. Nice.
I got to say, though, when I was walking by the fair the other day to go to OMD's shoot job, actually, watching them set up everything for the fair was awesome.
Right. Yep. It's different. It's an ordeal. It definitely is for them to get everything set up. And it's a traveling circus, essentially. So they'll be in one spot for a little while. They'll pack up and go to the next, which is absolutely insane how quickly they can put it up and how quickly they can put it down.
Now, we actually had another much smaller event in town over the weekend down at Clerg Park, and they had Bounce Castle World.
Yes.
So Sunday morning, I got up. I took my son for breakfast at Stacked, which is the new breakfast place in town.
Yep.
And then we went right down because it was $15. He got a guaranteed 3/4 of an hour. But we got there early enough that it wasn't overly busy, so they gave him the extra 15 minutes to play. So
nice.
Yeah, it's just too bad that they had to pack up early because of the rain.
Yeah.
Rain, go away. Let us play. Well, right. I'm Karl Karufel. That is Chris Best. And down below is OMD. And thank you for joining us here on Turnbuckle Talk, episode number 373. A big surprise? Well, we'll get to that a little later. Chris, you gave us a good number of topics to go over today. And I think the first one that I kind of want to touch on is something that should be at the forefront of everything right now. And I want to talk about a certain person and an accolade that person will be getting. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it has been announced by the Cauliflower Alley Club that this year's Charlie Smith Referee Award is going to one Bill Alfonso, a referee 1000% deserving of that award.
Oh, yeah.
This man, I remember watching him referee in my younger days. I've grown up watching this man as a referee, as a manager, managing RVD and reffing in ECW as well.
Yeah.
He was also involved in one of my favorite angles in '93, where he tried to convince another referee that there were two doinks.
Right.
I can't remember who the other referee was. I'm pretty sure it was Joey Morella, but Bill Alfonso, man, this guy has worked hard. He's worked his ass off in the wrestling business and is still doing it to this day.
Yeah.
Well deserved. Well deserved.
Yes. 100%. This is a guy that also does deserve the WWE Hall of Fame. You touched on it already as a referee, as a manager, carving out that niche and really being at the forefront of the heel ref to turn and go in another angle. I mean, yes, we had Danny Davis before him, but that was a little bit different as Danny Davis went on to become a wrestler. Then you look at a guy like Nick Patrick, who followed that lead, went to the NWO as their ref.
Yes.
So Bill Alfonso was the guy that set the absolute standard for that.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Just to kind of give you guys a little bit of a background history lesson on Fonzie or Bill Alfonso, most notably known for his time with Extreme Championship Wrestling, ECW, Paul Heyman's brainchild, Paul Heyman's baby. He played a role in a number of people's careers, significant roles like Sabu, Rob Van Dam, and Taz. Working with Van Dam helped Van Dam become the longest reigning ECW World Television Champion. He worked in WCW, WWE, TNA Impact Wrestling, and he started at the age of 21 years old.
Yep.
And doing some really notable matches, including reffing a chain match that happened between Terry Funk and the Sheik and Ric Flair versus Harley Race from Starrcade. Absolutely insane. Probably the biggest match that he refereed, though, would have been WrestleMania 9 with The Undertaker taking on Giant Gonzalez. And biggest match takes on two different meanings, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, how do you get bigger than Ric Flair and Harley Race at Starrcade?
Well, stature-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bubba, good to see you.
Yeah. How's it going, Bubba?
What's going on, brother?
It says Bubba OMD, but OMD is right here, so it's got to be Bubba.
That's right.
Unlike when I hop on, nobody ever knows who Turnbuckle Studios is because, well, it could be a number of different people.
Yeah. But
Bill Alfonso went on to leave the WWE, go to ECW, May of 1995 at Enter the Sandman, again working as a referee. He went through and handed out rare disqualifications towards wrestlers using steel chairs as weapons or anything extreme in nature. He worked as at this time, kayfabe, he worked as a very strict referee. He wrestled a couple of matches in his career.
That's right.
Really hugely memorable, though.
Well, that bloody match with Beulah McGillicuddy, he bled like a stuck pig during that match.
Right. Us hardcore diehards, definitely. Right, but you talk about some of the most memorable matches. We're not talking Alfonso and McGillicuddy.
No,
unfortunately. He assumed the role of Taz's manager. He's been a part of the Cauliflower Alley Club for a long number of years, and I am so happy for Bill Alfonso that he is receiving the Charlie Smith Referee Award from the Cauliflower Alley Club. Amazing.
Yeah. Giant congratulations, man. I mean, like, you actually blew my mind because I forgot that he was the referee in that Giant Gonzalez Undertaker match. And a referee an Undertaker match, even around then, that's a ton of respect, because Undertaker was already starting to become the leader of the locker room around that time.
Yep.
Yeah, he definitely was. And he was very particular with who he allowed to referee his matches, because when he was becoming that locker room leader, he had some pull. No matter what anybody will try to tell you. And he'll even keep it kayfabe, I'm sure, but he had more pull than people actually know and understand.
Yeah.
I mean, the story with him and Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 14 is enough said.
Right? Yeah. Oh, what do we talk about next? We talked a little Bill Alfonso, and we know that he worked for a number of different companies. So let's talk about one of those companies right now. Let's talk about the WWE. Yes, Bubba. Very much so. Good for him. Congrats.
Yes.
While we're talking the WWE, we're talking about some memorable matches and stuff. Some very memorable matches have happened in Japan. And now the WWE is going to try to do the exact same thing. The company announced today on social media that they're going to be running 3 events in Japan on July 25th, the 26th, and the 27th. The event on the 25th will take place from the Edion Arena in Osaka. Mm-hmm. And the other 2 events are going to happen from Ryogoku, Kokugikan.
Okay.
I butchered. I'm sorry.
I know you butchered it, but I think I'm the Ryogoku, maybe. I know the stadium you're talking about.
Okay, so. Yeah. Ryogoku, not Rai. Okay, yeah. Ryogoku, Kokugikan.
That's the one I can't pronounce either. So
okay.
But I know the stadiums you're speaking of.
Right.
So now, at this time, the names that are announced to be there: Bobby Lashley, Kairi Sane, Io Sky, Asuka, Shinsuke Nakamura, Drew McIntyre, and the undisputed Universal WWE Champion Cody Rhodes. They are all being advertised to be there. I want your guys' thoughts on, I don't care about the names that are going to be there, right, but your thoughts on the WWE making their way into the conglomerate of New Japan, let's say. New Japan runs events at those arenas very often. And now the WWE is trying to get their hand in there as well. So I want your guys' thoughts on that.
I am excited for this because this is just more of the globalization and the world that they are.
Right.
So yeah, the names really don't matter. It's going to be the crowd response. It's going to be the shows. Are we going to get an electric crowd like we've had in Lyon, in Puerto Rico last year? Are we going to get an electric crowd like Australia, or are they going to stick to Japanese culture and applaud before and after the match?
I never thought about that.
And then on top of that, it was also supposedly reported, so this is just a rumor, that next year, Backlash will emanate from the Tokyo Dome.
Say what?
Yeah, they're looking to make Backlash an international PLE.
Wow.
So I'm wondering if this is to gauge that.
Okay. I can kind of get that. I can kind of understand that. I hope that they are going to take into account the Japanese fan base, that we probably won't have the yelling, screaming, shouting, clapping, all of this that normally goes on anytime that the WWE goes anywhere else, because it's a very different type of sport. Yes. Sport over in Japan.
Yes. And you have to wonder are they going to be asking the WWE superstars to compete in strong style or in the sports entertainment aspect of it?
Chris, what do you think on that one?
Okay, so I'm going to correct both you guys. Okay. So the New Japan crowd are actually a lot louder than we think they are. They don't mic the crowds for New Japan.
Right.
I've watched live video of people going to the January 4th Tokyo Dome show, and it is electric when the crowds are there. When WWE Beast in the East went there back in 2012, I want to say, maybe, the crowd was electric for that whole show, even though the card was kind of crap, with the exception of Finn Balor and Kevin Owens in the main event.
Right.
I'm trying to think. And then when they did the Raw in Tokyo back in 2005, the crowd was electric even then as well. And I know 2005 was like 20 years ago. The crowds may have changed.
20 may have 20 may
have
changed.
Put me on a plane. Said put me on a plane. I want to go to this show.
Right?
No, totally understandable. OMD is making a couple, or Bubba's making a couple of good points here. Maybe what does New Japan think about this? And I'm sure that New Japan is probably okay with all of this. They're going to be more than happy to welcome more professional wrestling. But a good observation here, Bubba's asking, does no one show up because it is New Japan area?
I'm sure that WWE has probably worked with New Japan to be able to bring this show. I would not be surprised to see some form of crossover, whether it's, a couple of New Japan guys acting as enhancement talents or for a competitive match, especially given Cody's history in Japan.
Right.
Shinsuke's history. Damage Control's history.
Let's not forget that there is no such thing as areas for New Japan and All Japan, because they do share the same stadiums. I've seen New Japan shows at Korakuen Hall. All Japan has also held shows there. Pro Wrestling Noah has also held shows in the same stadiums as well.
Okay.
So this could be, and we've talked about this in the past with All Japan working with WWE. This also could be that as well. So we may see on these shows, we might see some All Japan guys.
We might.
Could this be the forbidden door opened between WWE and Japan, marking a new crossover pay-per-view?
I don't know. It's a possibility. Either way you slice it, I am stoked for all of them over in Japan that they are going to be getting the WWE there once again. And yeah, you talk about, crossover pay-per-views. Chris Best, you got some pay-per-view news?
I do, and this is one that perplexes me still because of what they're doing with this. AEW All Out is being moved from its usual Labor Day pay-per-view extravaganza, which always takes place after a week after All In, which that's a whole other subject because that doesn't make any sense to me.
Right.
But they're moving All Out a week behind, a week after Labor Day weekend. I'm trying to scroll to get to the article here because I got a bunch of ads popping up on this show.
Oh, geez.
On my thing. Yeah, it was. I think it was moved. It's going to be held in Hoffman Estates, Illinois, where it's typically usually held, anyways.
Right.
But yeah, they're moving it to September. It was September 8th, I believe.
7th.
Yes. Sorry, I was a day off. I was close.
Yeah, you were.
But yeah, there's no explanation as to why they're moving it. I can see why they're moving it because, like, come on, holding All Out a week after All In, nobody's gonna have money for All Out.
No.
But even 2 weeks after, it's still like, I don't get it. I'd move it like a month after,
Yeah,
I would too.
I am with you 100%. I thought that last year being the debut of All In London and then running All Out the week later was just ridiculous. And All Out was so poorly booked last year.
Yeah, see, that's the thing I'm running on too, is that last year's All Out, when All In came up, I was just tired. Yeah. I didn't want to watch wrestling when All In came out. I watched what I was told to watch, and that was it.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree. Like, even 2 weeks, I would say, yeah, you need at least a month. But I also noticed in this article, because I've got it up, that it's going to be on a Saturday night and not a Sunday, which AEW is normally known for.
Yes.
But I also wonder, because I'm not sure on the WWE PLE schedule if they've got something scheduled in and around that time as well. So maybe they're trying not to compete head-to-head with a pay-per-view or PLE the same weekend.
That's interesting.
Well,
WWE
Labor Day weekend, I believe, falls around the same time SummerSlam does.
No, Labor Day is September.
Not SummerSlam. Bash in Berlin.
Labor Day would be a week after because Bash in Berlin is at the end of August. So you're going to have
Bash in Berlin is the end of August.
Bash in Berlin, then you're going to have All In, and then 2 weeks later you're going to have All Out.
Here's what I'm looking at, because Bash in Berlin, August 31st, the original scheduled date for All Out or All In, All Out, was September 1st.
Right.
So I think OMD, you might be onto something there.
So because we know that they ran into an issue a couple of years ago when they ran a PLE up against Clash at the Castle. Even though WWE scheduled, it was AEW that lost, and they thought it was selfish on WWE's part to run a PLE that same weekend.
WWE had that show booked like months in advance, though.
Yep.
Taking a look at a couple of different sites here because I'm somewhat confused, maybe. June, we got Clash at the Castle. We got Money in the Bank. We got SummerSlam. We got Bash in Berlin. And then we're going to have Survivor Series at some point.
November, as usual.
Right. Yeah. But I'm not seeing anything else scheduled in between then. Like, nothing. I'm seeing nothing else scheduled in between then. So I think you definitely might be onto something with that. Trying to run a pay-per-view close to the same time that the WWE has been running a pay-per-view might be a very good idea for them to just wait and hold off, because people are going to be wanting some more professional wrestling that they're not necessarily going to be getting from the WWE, and this will be a time for them to capitalize on that.
Yeah.
Between September and October, I am not seeing anything for pay-per-views.
And usually around that time, I believe we have Payback, I believe, is the September show for WWE. And I think in October, it's another Saudi show.
Okay.
Yeah, but October would also potentially be Hell in a Cell.
Could be.
But you may want to hold off and not do Hell in a Cell in October with War Games at Survivor Series.
Yeah, I mean, I think Hell in a Cell is done for PLEs as far as I know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know who Helena is, but I'm sure she's a very nice lady.
We got Bubba coming in and saying AEW is nothing on WWE. So yeah, move it so you can get fans there in AEW.
You see,
he's right on that. He's totally right.
Yeah, definitely it is. And I think that's a smart move on the part of AEW right now. Right? Like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A very, very smart move. Oh God, she's a rat.
Yeah, Helena sells a rat.
Oh no. No, we don't like rats. No. Thank you.
But despite all her rage, she will always be a rat in a cage.
True. I think that this is a very good move for AEW to be doing this, to be taking the show and moving it to September 7th as opposed to September the 1st, especially when you've got a WWE pay-per-view on August 31st. It just makes sense, right? So now a lot of people, might kind of be like, well, I've got all these pay-per-views, all these shows, and I'm not paying for every single one of them. I mean, they're going to have to decide.
I mean, WWE learned their lesson. I think it was back in 91. They had Survivor Series, and then a week after, Tuesday in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And Tuesday in Texas took the stinger for that one because more people ordered Survivor Series that year than they did Tuesday in Texas.
But WWE even did it a few years ago with SummerSlam and then Payback a week later.
That's true, too.
Bayley won the women's title at SummerSlam, but then had to defend the tag titles at Payback.
True. Mr. Chris Parrish might be onto something as well here, where he says you have to wonder if ticket sales haven't been strong, so moving it actually allows them another week to try to push the pay-per-view and get more butts in the seats. Very good observation. We don't know the ticket numbers, but that very, very plausible.
I don't think well, I guess if I'm AEW, I should be worried about ticket sales, but in a place like Hoffman Estates, Illinois, suburb of Chicago, you really shouldn't be worried. But again, AEW's a tendency, and some of the major wrestling markets haven't been the greatest. So,
right. You know who should be worried right now? The WWE. And why should the WWE be worried right now? Well, because a star that people have been clamoring for waiting for, anticipating greatly has been hurt.
Yeah. Oh, God, this one hurt. This one breaks my heart knowing this one. But Giulia has broken her wrist in a recent match.
Yes.
And the reports are saying 8 to 9 weeks that's the preliminary reports, 8 to 9 weeks.
Yeah.
They don't know the severity of the wrist injury yet, but depending on the severity, it could be up to 3 months, which squashes their original plan. It doesn't necessarily squash, but merely delays the original plan for her return, or for her debut, not her return.
Right.
At NXT Heatwave in Toronto, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where she was supposed to take on Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's Championship.
Hey, that's more information than I even knew. All I knew was that she was kind of penciled in for one of the women's titles at the July 7th pay-per-view.
It was Roxanne Perez she was supposed to take on.
Yeah, she was penciled in. I found out this afternoon that it was Roxanne Perez. That, yeah, she was going to challenge for the NXT women's title right off the bat.
Wow.
That just, it hurts knowing that we're going to have to wait longer for that match.
We're unsure. I mean, 8 to 9 weeks, we still have. It's tough, but I mean, it could be done in 6 or 7 if we're lucky.
Mm-hmm.
But
those 8 to 9 weeks of healing, we're not including the physical therapy that comes after that.
Right.
So again, those 8 to 9 weeks could still put that match in jeopardy.
Yep.
And Parrish is right. If they make it known that Roxanne did it, they can add it to the rivalry. And I like that even more.
Yep.
Right.
Because the stuff Roxanne is doing as a heel on NXT has been superb.
It definitely has been. 100% it has been. And they, the WWE has just been doing really, really good things right now.
I gotta wonder too, because she was signed on for a few matches with Marigold. That's where she injured her wrist. Was at Marigold's first show. She was in the first match, injures her wrist. Right. I gotta wonder if the other matches that she was scheduled for, if those are just going to be put on the back burner. That we don't know. Possible. Bubba's asking who's getting that spot now. We don't know at this point.
Yeah, we will have to wait and see, figure it out.
You know who is getting a spot in NXT? Well, I mean, kind of a one-off type of situation.
Forever. Mm-hmm.
What?
I said forever.
That was like randomness out of nowhere.
Because I froze.
Oh, talking out of nowhere. This comes to me out of nowhere. I guess in the aftermath of, Kendrick Lamar's recent rap beef over Drake, Shawn Michaels actually invited both men onto the show to settle their differences. It didn't work. So yeah, that is not going to be happening. They were cooking up some, NXT champion Trick Williams and real life girlfriend Lash Legend, trying to cook up something there, but it did actually grab the attention of a rapper that I don't know who this rapper is. I'm not huge into the rap scene, but somebody known as Sexy Red, a rapper, Sexy Red, a new rap star out of St. Louis, Missouri, tweeted that the Legends group, The Metaphor, should watch their back after its leader, Noam Dar, used the champ's relationship as a way to set himself up as the #1 contender. She tweets out, "I can't wait to go to NXT next week, y'all. I might RKO somebody."
Yes.
So May 20th, last night, it was announced that Sexy Red will be on the May 28th episode of NXT.
Okay.
We've talked about it before, but I want to get you guys' take on it once again. The use of celebrities, especially right now, let's say with NXT. Do you think that it is a good idea, especially like Shawn Michaels trying to do something with Kendrick Lamar and Drake? Like, okay. Okay.
I think in this situation, it is completely unwarranted. I don't think this is necessary at all. I mean, if you're going to bring in a celebrity, why don't you go across the parking lot to TNA and bring in their new digital media champion, since he is NXT alumni? That being
Right.
one AJ Francis.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I mean, he's also a rapper.
True. I got some rappers right here. I mean, they're candy rappers, but I got some rappers right here.
Much
There's
like
your rappers, people.
I don't know.
I got a hummus rapper here.
I don't know Drake's music. I don't know Kendrick Lamar's music. So really, I mean, it's irrelevant to me. So why they have to play this TMZ drama out on NXT, I don't really know.
Okay. Hear me out then. Okay, hear me out. If this were, let's say, 15, 20 years ago, because they had beef, okay? But if this was like, Fred Durst, Jonathan Davis, and then like Corey Taylor steps in and is like, I'll show up. He starts putting out something about it. Would that have been different? Because it's a style of music that you actually prefer.
You know what? And I will say, yes, based on the genre. So yes, you've got me there. So yes, I would be hypocritical. But again, at the same time, going back 20 years to about now, I would probably say again, why do we need this TMZ type drama played out?
Right. Best, your take.
OMD, let me ask you this before I get into my take.
Yeah.
Do you want the WWE to be in the public eye?
Yes.
Then you bring celebrities on the show. That's how it works. I have no idea who the Sexy Red person is either, because I, like you gentlemen, I'm a metalhead. I'm going to take this approach the same way I took Bad Bunny's approach. I had no idea who Bad Bunny was. I kept an open eye, an open ear, an open eye on this thing, an open mind, if you will. So I'm going to do the same thing for this person. What I would like for WWE to do, though, is give us an explanation on who this person is, be it tonight on NXT or Friday on SmackDown, even Saturday or Friday later on the main event. Throw some YouTube videos up to explain who she is so that we got a better idea who she is.
Okay.
Yeah. I know we got that explanation with Poppy because she had done theme musics. She had done entrance themes as well as PLE themes. But yeah, again, because we're not really familiar with the rap and hip hop scene, we don't know who Sexy Red is.
Right. I actually knew who Poppy was before they brought her in, and I was actually happy when they brought Poppy in because Poppy brings the creep factor. She used to be a YouTube creator before she did her music, and she put out some pretty creepy videos.
She did. Oh yeah. She definitely did. I was a fan of Poppy as well before she kind of blew up, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah, so I think honestly the inclusion of celebrities in the realm of professional wrestling is great because it really does kind of give you a more. It gives you more that you are
Yes.
able to, kind of put out there, especially when it comes to the how do you say this now? When it comes to pop culture, because the WWE is pop culture itself. You know
Right.
what I mean? Yeah. So I think that that's definitely a good thing.
While we're on the subject of celebrities in WWE, I saw a very interesting interview on the Drew Barrymore show, of all places,
Really?
where Drew Barrymore spoke to Cyndi Lauper. She brought up the idea of Cyndi Lauper going to the WWE Hall of Fame.
Okay.
She made Cyndi aware that there is a petition going around. I've signed the petition. I can't count how many times that there's a petition going around online to put Cyndi in the Hall of Fame. And Cindy's like, I was aware of it. And she knows. She's just waiting for that call from Hunter.
Wow. Okay.
Interesting.
I would be okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
I would be too. Definitely, I would be. I mean, she was like hugely part of the rock and wrestling era.
Absolutely.
Right? So yeah, damn, yeah, to have her included.
And as it stands right now, she's the only piece that completes the WrestleMania 1 Hall of Fame inductions right now.
What do you mean? Explain that for me.
Well, okay, so all the big stars that were surrounding WrestleMania 1 have already been inducted. Hulk Hogan, Mr. T, Roddy Piper, Paul Orndorff. Oh my God, I forgot her name for Wendy Richter.
Okay.
Iron Sheik, Nikolai Volkov, and the US Express. So now Andre the Giant and Big John Studd. The only piece in that main event puzzle was Cyndi Lauper. She's the only one that's not there.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, Moolah too, because Moolah and all their managers too are all inducted as well.
True.
Yeah.
True. Jeez. Yeah. So what the hell, WWE? What the hell?
Yep. Give Cyndi Lauper the call because we have been waiting for this year after year, time after time.
Time after time. Yeah. Enough about Sexy Red. I don't care about that anymore. Let's move on to something that is kind of cool, I think. I am very, very excited.
It is, Bubba. Research is a great thing, but I'm not about to go above and beyond to look up Sexy Red.
No, me either. Me either. Do you know who Sexy Red is? Do you, Bubba? Poppy should feud with Mommy. I'd be down for that. I definitely would be. Definitely would be down for that. Something that I did find that was actually really cool for me, anyways, because I am somebody who is I'm a collector. I like my Funko Pops.
Mm-hmm.
But just recently, a new company called U2's YOUTOOZ. Yes, I'm Canadian. I say Z. Has introduced the AEW collection that is going to officially drop on May the 28th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you are watching us on video, you can see on the screen right now the AEW and U2's action figures that they're going to be coming out with. Now, while they may be a little pricey, I think that it might be something for me to collect, I guess. They're coming together, joining forces. Following a teaser earlier this month, it was officially announced that the first series is actually going to include Lionheart, Chris Jericho, Timeless, Tony Storm in both color and black and white versions, and Orange Cassidy.
Nice.
Dude, they're only like $30 a piece.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, she's hot and correct.
Okay, so
okay, cool.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna take Bubba's word on that one. Not a rap
Me
fan,
too.
so
Right.
I know about the U2's company, and this is actually a step outside of U2's realm.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because usually what they do is they collaborate with YouTubers to make figures of the YouTube characters, and they only release them. They only release them in limited quantities, so these things become massive collectibles.
Ooh.
Somewhere down the road. For instance, one of my favorite gaming channels is Neebs Gaming. Shout out to them. And they've released all 5 of their figures. There's was 5, now there's 4. One of them sadly passed away. But they released figures, and their latest figure goes on the collector's market. It was originally sold at $19, but now it goes on the collector's market for $200 to $300.
Wow.
So I'm expecting that this U2's thing is probably going to be, you're going to see those Orange Cassidy, the Tony Storm, and Chris Jericho only released in limited quantities.
With that being said, if anybody would like to, you can hit me up and get a hold of me, and I will gladly give you the shipping address as to where you could send me those figures if you want to. Bubba's saying that it is too rich for his blood. Thankfully, I have been able to figure out a little bit with finances, and hopefully I might be able to afford these, especially if they're going to be limited and collectors.
Yes.
OMD, you used to collect action figures. Did these appeal to you at all?
They do.
Okay.
They do. Again, for me, like, I don't really have anywhere to put them. I would love to have a place for them.
Right.
So again, it's anything wrestling, and I mean, this is going back to AEW is putting all of their money and their time into all of these outside projects. You know, you've got the Fight Forever video game, you've had the action figures, you've got this now, but they're not marketing their product. This is, but it isn't. This is, you know, a lot of us, you know, we would have said a few years ago, these are toys for kids. Now that we're adults and we're collecting them and putting them up on our wall for display, you know, as collector's items and cherished memories for ourselves, you know, we don't have that feeling anymore. So it's sort of that double-edged sword that they're killing themselves with, because they're putting all of this money and time into all of these outside products as opposed to their in-ring product and putting butts in seats.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but at least they're not going to Funko Pops to do it, because I believe a contract with Funko would be far more expensive than U2's, because U2's not that big of a company, but as I said, they're carving their niche in the toy industry.
Right.
And that's fantastic. I'm very happy for them. And yeah, there's a number of different companies that are starting to pop up out there, like made by robots is another one.
Yep.
You know, like and they're really starting to kind of take shape and take form. Although Funko Pop has been around for a long while, it's nice to see that there's a little bit that's out there that they're not going to touch Funko ever, but
right.
they give us something else that we can look at and collect as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just going to put this out there, but that Orange Cassidy figure just looks like fire to me. I want that figure.
That was.
Here, we'll show everybody once again. There you go. Pause the screen, take a screenshot, or just look up U2's AEW, and you'll be able to find.
Oh, hell, even that Tony Storm figure looks good, too.
Right?
Yeah. See, the Tony Storm and Orange Cassidy were clear as a bell. It took me until you said they were doing Lionheart Chris Jericho to realize who that was.
Right.
I was thinking it could have been Britt Baker. It could have been any number of talents.
Comparing Chris Jericho and Britt Baker. All right.
Old man, get your glasses.
I mean, you do know that Britt Baker is a brunette now, right?
Yes. But if she's coming back, they could dye her hair, or, there was a time I knew she was brunette in ROH. She was brunette before she got injured.
Right.
But you also never know what they're going to do with the design. So
this is true. I mean, sometimes when you're designing a figure, it is hard to match the proper coloring for certain outfits,
That's true. But brunette is a far cry from blonde.
Yeah.
Yeah. While on this program, we do have a lot of fun, some smiles, and some laughs. There are also times where we need to take a few moments to be a little more serious with things. And this is one that is very serious for me and close to my heart. In the ticker down below, you'll see that there is a GoFundMe that has been set up. It is gofund.me/A0758A33. That's gofund.me/Alpha0758Alpha33. That is going to be the easiest way for you to be able to support one of our fallen brothers in the professional wrestling business. We lost Bad Bones John Klinger, a wonderful human being that I had the opportunity to talk with a couple of times, never on recording, but I have talked with him, working a lot with WXW over in Germany, and I know as well that he was a friend of a friend of mine, Jazzy Gabert, and she actually turned me on to John and to this GoFundMe that has been put into place for him. John, you will be missed. We thank you for your contributions. We thank you for the memories that you have given us. And if you do feel so inclined, please visit that GoFundMe page and offer even just $1, because every little bit helps when it comes to and thank you each and every one for indulging us in that as well. It's definitely a very hard time sometimes when we do have even a brother or a sister that we really didn't even know pass away. But Chris, you yesterday had even said it, no matter who it is, it's always a brother or sister in arms, right?
Yeah.
So thank you.
Completely get that feeling, because like I said, when I served in the military, it didn't matter if we didn't know this, if we didn't know the soldier, if we knew the soldier. It was like losing a brother or sister in arms. And it's the same thing in the wrestling world. Exact same thing.
Yes. Yes. And on a much less somber note, I do want to extend our thoughts and our congratulations to Josh Prohibition, who has announced that he is retiring.
After what?
After May 24th, when he gets his hands on Matt Cross.
Yes.
He has said, after a 23-year career, yes, he will be retiring this Friday, wrestling a former rival at the AEW show in Cleveland in his last ever match. His own words, "I am a broken down piece of meat, and this is all I have left."
That is what he said.
So, congratulations to him on a successful career. All the best in retirement, Josh. And please, please stay healthy. We want you with us, and we want you around the industry.
Yeah.
What a perfect way for him to retire, using a line from The Wrestler, a movie that he appeared in.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely it is. And for him to take on Matt Cross, that's a rivalry that has been going on for ages. Yeah.
I remember the first time I read about Josh Prohibition, it was him taking on Matt Cross.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I said read because we didn't have video. We didn't have YouTube to watch the matches. So I read about the matches.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Good old PW Insider. Good old
That's exactly
The Wrestler
where I read
magazine. Yeah. The Wrestler magazine, PW Insider. Yeah. All good ones.
Yes.
You want to talk about good things? Let's talk about Monday Night Raw last night and how absolutely freaking amazing it was. But instead of talking about what happened, I want to talk about and give props to the producers of each match and segment that happened on the show last night. We started out the show with Chad Gable taking on Sami Zayn. That was produced by none other than Jason Jordan. Braun Breaker taking on Kale Dixon was produced by Christopher Park, or if you're a fan of TNA, you know him as Abyss. The Queen of the Ring semifinal between Io Sky and Lyra Valkyria was produced by P.D. Williams. The Tag Team Championship matchup between Awesome Truth and the Judgment Day was produced by Sean Davari. The Women's Tag Team 4-way match that surprisingly turned out a lot better than it could have gone was actually produced by TJ Wilson and Kenny Dykstra. Gunther and Jey Uso was produced by Michael Hayes and Bobby Roode. WWE's Pete Dunne produced the speed match between Ricochet and Tyler Bate for X. Adam Pearce produced Natalia versus Kiana James for main event. And Adam Pearce also produced the Creed Brothers versus the Authors of Pain matchup on main event. Props to them.
Absolutely. I mean, the way that the production has gone, and I mean, not just the new TV director, but the producers, the agents backstage, the talent in the ring, the fans. The fans, we have a reason to stand up and shout. It's no more dead crowds.
Right.
So thank you to Hunter as well and Creative. But I mean, most importantly, thank you to the fans.
Oh, yeah.
Because the talent wouldn't be there doing what they do if it wasn't for the fans. They wouldn't be able to.
Right. Right.
And in an indirect way, I want to thank TNA because they have made quite the impact on WWE.
Yes. Yes,
I mean,
they have.
I mean, take a look at the majority of those producers, right? They were there when TNA was at its height, when TNA knew what storytelling was at that time. They know what it is again. I'm going to put that out there.
Thank you.
But these were the guys that were the building blocks for what we know as TNA today.
Yeah.
And
definitely, yeah.
Now that you've mentioned who was behind what, I now see it in each match as I'm thinking about them, you know?
Right?
Yep.
Right? It's hard not to. It's hard not to kind of see that. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that they got some props because, well, 100% they deserve each and every one of those props. So thank you to them because they are the guys that make sure that everything is kind of That's right. They make everything show stopping, just like our show stopper segment for today. Now, OMD and Chris Best have absolutely no idea what this is. But this as well is something very, very close to my heart because, well, I had a crush on this person. Yeah, maybe I still do. Maybe I still do. This person has a podcast of her own, and that podcast is Pod Meets World. I am talking about Danielle Fishel, or Topanga, from the show Boy Meets World. They had the amazing opportunity back in the day to be in front of a live WWF back then audience for a matchup for the TV show Boy Meets World that included Vader, who played a dad to Frankie Stechino on Boy Meets World, taking on Jake the Snake Roberts. But what was interesting is that they actually spoke and had a really good podcast with Bruce Pritchard, who discussed Vader's appearance and Vader's several appearances on that show. But something interesting came out of that episode that I was like giddy about. Before I get to that, have you guys listened to that, or do you even know where I'm going with this at all?
Not a clue, brother.
Sort of. I saw the headline. I passed through it when I was doing my research because I wanted to stick to my news research for today because of the fact that you told us yesterday you had a surprise story for us. So I'm like, okay, stick to getting today the stories from today that were reported.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, that was a smart move on your part. Yep.
Yeah.
Leo Rush previously said that CM Punk wanted Danielle Fishel to be his manager in AEW. And I thought that was really cool, considering Danielle Fishel is a pro wrestling fan. Inside, this is transcript from the actual episode, says we actually recently heard how annoyed Jake Roberts was by the whole experience. He said he basically had to repeat moves and it was just a produced match in a way that's pretty taboo. As you mentioned, in front of a live audience, then you also had to call the match live on the fly. Is that correct? She's asking that of Bruce Pritchard, who did commentary for the show. She went on to say that she wants to do something in the ring someday. She says, everyone would assume I'm going to be a babyface, so you got to send me in as a heel. I do have a real, it's a kind of secret goal, but at some point in my life, I want to be put through a table. I mean, in a wrestling ring. Dude!
Why did my brain go to Bubba Ray Dudley doing a tour?
Right?
Mine did too. Mine did too, man. Oh,
But
do I want it to be?
gonna,
No, please don't let it be Bubba. He'd kill her.
I'm going to pose these two other names to Karl to do it. Liv Morgan. With Danielle Fishel in the ring, or Alexa Bliss.
I volunteer as tribute. I'll go into it.
Right?
I can keep her safe.
I would happily do the same. I was a huge Topanga fan as well from Boy Meets World. I did not know that she had a new podcast. I'm not sure how long it's been around.
It's been around a while now.
Yeah, going on about 2 years now.
Oh, wow.
And her podcast is mostly about the show, from what I understand.
It is. Let's give them a plug. Pod Meets World. Go and find them. You can even find them on Good Pods. Go and follow Pod Meets World, where they do interviews with former cast members, but they actually recall and talk about the show from beginning all the way through to the very final episode. And I think right now they're only in the 4th season, because I think that's when Vader was in there. Vader was in the 4th season.
Yeah.
Right.
So they actually rewatch the episode, and then they come and talk about it afterwards in their experiences, rewatching themselves like 25 years later.
Right.
And it's awesome. I love listening to it. Not just because it's Danielle Fishel, but you got Will Friedle and Ryder Strong as well.
Right.
That are there with her, right? So you got Sean, right? You got Sean.
You got Eric.
Eric, or plays with squirrels, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. Check it out. Pod Meets World.
I actually watched that episode with Vader and Jake the Snake. I'm not the biggest Boy Meets World fan.
Right.
I will admit that, but I did watch that episode, and I do actually remember WWF Magazine at the time interviewing Danielle, everybody on the cast. And I remember Danielle, and you triggered a memory. I remember Danielle saying in those interviews that she's been a lifelong fan of wrestling. And this harkens back to earlier when we were talking about celebrities getting involved in the wrestling business. Why not bring her in? I mean, there's a lot of the wrestling fans are around our age anyways. We're going to remember who she is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, a lot of them. Definitely. Definitely will. I believe the episode was titled 16 Candles and 400-Pound Men.
Yeah. How cool would it have been when the year Vader went into the Hall of Fame if they brought the Boy Meets World cast to help induct him?
Right.
That would have been sick.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been really cool. Damn. Oh, I wish they would have done that now. What we are going to do right now, though, is have OMD tell you about where you can find him.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for me, you can find me on Facebook, Daniel Hrycyk, Hrycyk. On Snapchat, One Man Dynamic, capitals on O, M, and D. On Twitch at OMD17, and on Discord at OMD6370. Visually, you can catch me right here every Monday on the Boar's Nest from 7 to 8 with the Raw Preview Review Show, and then followed immediately by the Raw Patrol with Chris Best, with Karl Karufel, with Bubba Duke, and Chris Parrish, right here every Tuesday at 8:05 with my two partners in crime doing Turnbuckle Talk. On Thursdays on the Boar's Nest with Bubba Duke, and on Fridays with the SmackDown Security Detail with Chris Best, and any other surprise events that we may pull out of our butts.
I know that Chris Best has not had the opportunity or the time to do so yet, but at some point, I'm sure he's going to be making himself a easier way to give all of his socials. But go ahead with these ones right now.
Yeah, you can find me at youtube.com at CBRS Entertainment, twitch.tv, CBRS_entertainment, threads.net at CBSFilms83, Facebook.com, Chris.best83, CBRS.entertainment. Where you can find me next is at 7 p.m. on Friday, where my next episode of the WWE 2K24 My Rise will be uploaded to my channel at CBRS Entertainment on YouTube. Afterwards, you can jump over to Turnbuckle Studios as OMD and I do the SmackDown security detail. Saturday night, you'll find me back on my CBRS Entertainment YouTube channel as I do Saturday Night Gaming. Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, you can look for me with Karl Karufel, OMD, Bubba Duke, Chris Parrish as we do the Raw Patrol. And next week, where we're going to have more stories for you, 8:05 p.m. Eastern for Turnbuckle Talk.
And you guys can find me at my link tree, linktr.ee/Karl Karufel. That is linktr.ee/KarlKarufel. I want to say thank you once again to each and every one of you for being here with us today on this episode of Turnbuckle Talk. And I'm happy that I was able to give a big surprise in Danielle Fishel and letting everybody know that she's a fan of professional wrestling. Remember, everyone, the world's a scary place. Take care of each other.